Hi everyone, welcome to Learning Rust with Sean and Kate. This week we're talking about modules. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing, Kate?
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to learn how to organize our Rust code.
Yeah, we've pretty much had everything in one Rust file up to this point, and those have been getting a little long, so it'll be nice to organize those a bit.
Yeah. What did you think of the chapter this week?
So I thought it was pretty straightforward, but apparently there's been a lot of changes in Rust, and so thankfully I used some supplementary materials to understand some of the new changes to the latest version of Rust.
Yeah, thanks for
And
sending that to me. It's good.
Yeah, it seems helpful because it actually made things a little bit simpler, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
I agree. It all seems pretty straightforward. I would like to play around with it though. I haven't actually gotten my hands dirty yet, so I'm sure we'll kind of stumble along some parts that I didn't quite understand fully that I thought I understood. But
Uh-huh.
so far, it it makes a lot of sense where you use modules to kind of namespace your code and uh, keep everything logically separated.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
you've used modules in JavaScript before, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
building my own little library right now in JavaScript, the sonification library. I think we talked about that a while ago. I'm still working on it, but it's going
yeah,
to be
that's neat.
published.
That's
Yeah.
neat. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so I think kind of the idea of modularizing code and keeping things nice and structured is it seems pretty universal.
Hmm.
I don't think anything in Rust was too crazy about how to do that. I guess one thing is there's a distinction between a package and a module, which some languages have, and I guess JavaScript doesn't necessarily.
Right. So in
Um,
Rust, the idea of a crate versus a module.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess I just thought of crates as the thing you're shipping. I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think. Let's see what else was in here. So, one I know one of the things that changed in the latest version of the spec was how you kind of refer to modules that also can use other modules.
Hmm.
Um, so it looked like kind of the previous way you do it is first maybe you have like a leaf module kind of thing,
Hmm.
and you just have code in it. And then if you want to break out a sub module inside of that, you would then have to take the file, rename it to mod.js, create a directory with the
Hmm.
name of the file, copy mod.js inside, and then that kind of becomes like the implicit entry point, I guess, for the module,
Yeah.
similar to like lib.rs for a library or main.rs for a
Right.
binary.
Binary. Yeah. Flashbacks to Node's index.js.
Yeah, yes. I know when we've pair programmed in JavaScript in the past, one of the pain points has been like when you start to refactor everything as folders with index.js, all the tabs in your editor,
Yeah.
they've got the same file name in them. So it's just
Yeah.
like, what the heck am I working on right now?
Exactly. So I think that's one of the issues that the Rust developers were trying to solve with ModRS from what
Hmm.
I was reading. So yeah, too many mod.rses. So now
Yeah.
you can kind of keep your parent module where it is, and if you need to create submodules, then you can create a directory and throw those in there. But there's no
Hmm.
requirement now. I guess you could still follow that pattern if it doesn't break existing code, but yeah.
Yeah. So I guess one advantage that comes to mind is if you rename the module, then you just have to rename the folder. Or if you were to maybe refactor and move it somewhere
Right.
in the folder hierarchy, you just have the one thing to deal with. But
Hmm.
if you had the file and the sub modules folder side by side, you'd have to kind of do both and keep those together, which I guess isn't a big deal. But
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like if you're already creating a directory, you might as well just throw it in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So I guess modules have they're public and private.
Right.
And one thing that seemed pretty neat to me was things are private by default.
Yep.
Insert Facebook joke here. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a couple of days since I've gone through the exercises in the chapter, but
Hmm.
I guess like the main thing that jumped out to me was the compiler was very helpful about the warnings and what to fix.
Yeah, as
So
usual with Rust.
as usual, yeah. And I guess the one other thing that jumped out to me is with JavaScript modules, I'm kind of used to, I guess, the Unix file syntax, and this has that double colon module submodule
Hmm.
syntax, which is a little bit different.
Yeah. It
Um,
looks a little scary to me, but I'm getting used
it
to it.
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah, a
It's
little
nice that
scary.
you can do the use shorthand though to kind of like keep that from proliferating all over your code.
Right, yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
and I think
destructuring too.
right, yeah, destruction was super great.
Yeah, I liked that
I can imagine some ways to dry up some code.
for sure.
Uh, yeah, there wasn't. I mean, I think that's just about everything. So, I mean, there's kind of an absolute path equivalent. There's a relative path equivalent.
Hmm.
There's a super keyword. You've got the ability to do glob imports,
Yeah,
like
that was nice.
as which is a convenience thing, but frowned upon generally.
Oh,
Um,
was it? Did they say that in the chapter? Or did you read that?
I can't remember. I mean, it's usually like if you kind of glob import, you're pulling in a bunch of things, and then the concern is that maybe you clobber the namespace with
Right, because you don't
just a
know
bunch of
exactly
stuff.
what you're importing. It's not explicit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I could see that.
But it's yeah, different languages have different kind of points of view about that. So like the data science people in Python and Jupyter notebooks, they glob like crazy, and I don't know. I guess they're just like whatever. Just throw it
Right.
all in there. Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and then there was like a use as syntax where we can come up with like an alias, I believe, for things.
Right.
I think that's just about everything. Can you think of anything else?
Yeah, they mentioned briefly like test stuff or
Oh yeah, that was
writing test
exciting.
files,
We
but
did a test kind of thing.
yeah,
Our
I'm
our
not sure if we're
first
gonna
ever.
get into that today, but it was a nice preview
Yeah.
how testing would work. It's kind of interesting because it's like tests are sort of integrated with the module in a way that I wasn't used to from JavaScript, but
Yeah, you just have the special like annotations that
right,
they're tests.
yeah, that's interesting. So, well, sneak preview for
Cool.
I don't know when we're gonna do testing, but I think there's a chapter on it.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about different possible examples of code we could refactor to be a
Hmm.
little bit more structured and modular. And one thing that came to mind was a text adventure game because I feel like usually when I'm checking out languages around this point, I do a text adventure example because it just forces a lot of use of a lot of things. And
Cool.
I kind of started on that path, but I realized we haven't covered collections yet,
Hmm.
really. So I didn't want to kind of get ahead of myself too much. So
Hmm.
instead, I decided like, are there any other Rustaceans out there that have created some adventure game type code we could reuse? And and Steve Klabnik's GitHub had a code base from like 2014 where he did that. So thank you, Steve. We
Nice.
basically copied most of your code and made some slight changes. Most of the changes are actually removing features to make this a little bit more straightforward. And then I made some other changes to make this Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure themed. But the bummer part is that Kate has actually never seen the movie.
I'm
So,
sorry. I'm
wah
really
wah.
failing at all of these pop culture references. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, since you're a musician, Kate, and like the whole premise is about music solving all of the universe's ills and like causing peace and harmony throughout everything. Like I was hoping maybe that'd be a music school cult classic.
Maybe it.
I know I'm getting old. I'm all my references are dated. Dang it, it happens.
Yep. I'll have to watch it after this.
Yeah. Well, you'll get a little bit of a preview today through our text adventure
Okay.
game.
You'll have to step me through it though.
Yeah, so I guess why don't you run the example and we can kind of show how it works right now.
Okay. Sounds good. So do cargo run. Okay. All right. You're a righteous member of the band Wild Rose Station, standing in the garage where you practice. You're in danger of flunking most heinously if you don't find Rufus's time machine. Sean's house is to the south and the high school's to the east. All right, let's go to Sean's house. So, south. Okay, you walk into Sean's house. Sean's dad bellows, "If you fail that history class, you'll go to military school." Bogus. All right,
That
I
would be
guess.
pretty bogus.
Yeah,
It'd break up the
sounds
band.
rough. All right, let's go north. Okay, we're back. So I guess we've got to go east to the high school. All right, you stand in front of the high school. Grades are posted in the window. Sean has a total score of 30%. Yikes, Sean.
That's
We'll
pretty
need
bad.
to ace his history test to pass the class. There's a garage to the west and a Circle K to the south.
You've been to the garage. You should go to the Circle K.
All right, Circle K.
Do you know what a Circle K is?
Isn't it like a fancy gas station?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, like a Sheets or something. Okay, there's a school to the north and a phone booth to the south. So we've been to the school, right?
Uh-huh.
So I guess we should check out this phone booth.
Yep.
Ah, after Kate and Sean climb into the phone booth, the booth begins flying around through time and space, beginning their most excellent adventure.
Yay!
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's a preview for the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure marathon you're going to have later. So
Okay.
there's two. There's Most Excellent Adventure, and then it's hold on, Most Bogus Journey, I think is the second, and then there's going to be a new one coming out next year, actually, which I
Whoa.
was kind of shocked by because those guys are getting old.
So is this like a musical thing? I'm guessing.
I don't want to give anything away.
Okay. I know I'm a musician, but I am not a musical person. So,
Well, there's terrible music in it,
okay.
so I
Like
could see why
ironic music?
maybe a conservatory it would not be interested in. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you know.
Okay. Oh, cool. So that's what we've got, and just kind of looking at our main.rs file, it looks like it's about 184 lines of Rust code in just a single file.
Yep. We could definitely do better.
Yeah. So we've got some enums and what else?
What's
Got
your
some structs.
preferred file length, Sean? Your ideal file length?
Hmm. I don't know if I have. I feel like I just have kind of an instinctual sense of it,
Yeah.
and it has to do with kind of complexity.
Not like a hard number of lines.
Probably not a hard number necessarily, but
For
yeah,
sure.
I mean like 180 is like just above whatever my instinctive
Yeah,
feeling to refactor is.
for sure. Yeah, because it's not only about line length, but kind of logical separation and keeping things that relate to each other in the same file, which is helpful.
Yeah, right.
So
Like,
you
yeah,
can get a
it's kind
quick
of like
idea of what's happening when you look at it. I think that's the most important thing.
yeah, totally. And then if there's modules that you might use multiple places, then definitely breaking that out too.
For sure.
I'm thinking that there's probably some components that could be reused across several text adventure games. Like we're
Okay.
kind of building our own text adventure game engine and then implementing our excellent adventure text game all in the same file. So
Right.
maybe we should take a look at things that have more to do with the engine that we could use to make a couple of games, like our sequels and follow-on adventures and whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah. So what if we yeah, just create a a game or engine module and then put everything but main in there and then kind of refactor.
I like it. All right. So would we create a directory called engine?
Why don't we just do the inline style first and then refactor to a new file after?
Okay. Sure.
So I am going to define a module. I'm going to call it engine. And then everything inside the curly brackets there constitutes the contents of the module. So I'm going to move this way down. Okay, so I just basically created a module engine and wrapped everything but the main in there. And so if you try to run it, we should get a bunch of errors now.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so everything used to be in kind of the root module for our binary application, and now we have this this module engine inside, so we have to prefix everything we reference. So I'm down on line 108 right now.
Okay.
And so I think something like that.
So engine room.
Engine, yes. You want to run again so we can see the compiler yell at us?
Sure. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Struct
So I
as
think this,
private.
let's see, are those the only errors or?
Let's see. Enter is not found in scope.
So let me do that one and then I'll let you drive to fix the next issues.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, let's just make sure that's solved. All right, so now the only errors we're getting are about private variables, or sorry, private, I guess, enums or structs. So we have to tell Rust that we explicitly want these to be public and we want them to be used by other code outside of this module. So let's start at the top here. All right, direction. So I think we can just use the pub keyword there. So I guess we could add pub to each of these things, or could we just add pub to the top level module declaration?
I don't think that'll be enough, but let's see.
Okay, just want to test it out. No, okay. So do we have to do both? Add pub here and then to all of these individual items?
I think so.
Okay. So good to know. Go ahead. Add those. All right. let's try it now. Okay, so pub is not permitted here because it's implied. Interesting. That's probably because I already declared this struct as public, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
So that's nice. Don't have to do that. And I guess that's probably the same for this. Oh, and then we have one more here. Is escape is private.
Do you mind fixing the extra space on line 37? I'm so ADD.
Yeah. I'll
Thank
run
you.
the formatter again too. Okay, so let's run this one more time. Okay, right, so this last one is escape. Okay, so even though we didn't have to tell Rust that this implementation block was public, we have to actually do that on the individual methods. So let's just go ahead and, well, I guess we're not using exit2 or can go.
I mean, if it's used internally within that module, maybe it's okay to keep it private.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's only used internally. Okay,
They're like helper functions.
cool. Lots of errors now.
Ooh. But they're different errors, which probably means we're making progress.
Yep. The book told us that we should celebrate different errors.
Yay, something else broke.
Field description of struct engine room. Okay, so we have to mark individual fields public? That seems weird.
It seems like it.
Okay. I guess that we want to. Field direction of struct exit. Huh, this seems like a lot of pubs.
It does, yeah.
Let's just run that again, see if I cleared up some of those. Ah, nice. Okay.
Cool.
It's interesting. I wonder if it would work if I took this off. Like, if I just kept the public keyword on the actual fields in the struct versus the whole thing.
I feel like it's going to break.
Yeah. Huh. What's the advantage? I guess what would the advantage be of like having this public but then not having the fields be public?
Well, I mean, I guess you could.
What would the use case be?
You could have some state that's kind of internal that you don't want people to directly be able to touch. Maybe we have special like getters and setter type functions, and we don't want the consumer of our API to be able to set that value directly, but go through our kind of custom method to change it.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. All right.
Yeah. But I mean, like you were saying, it seems like there's a lot of pubs.
Yeah.
So I think like the term for that is like loose coupling, tight coupling. And I mean, maybe we can try to refactor to make a little bit more of a better interface later, I guess.
Okay.
So I guess now that we have things modularized, we can break it out into a separate file.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take our engine module and break it into submodules.
Sounds good.
Going to create a new file called engine.rs. And if I remember this right, I basically just take everything in the curly brackets here, and I can copy it and paste it in.
PV's come over to say hi.
Oh,
My pair programming buddy. I think she's gonna chill in my lap.
that's nice.
It is.
I'm jealous. I don't have any pets.
Yeah. Cats, man. They're
Gotta
great.
get on that.
You should.
Okay, so I got everything in there. And so I think now I can just delete. Is it maybe that?
Yeah, that looks right. Maybe with semicolon. Yep. And then so if I open up EngineRS, yeah, cool. So let's make sure this still works. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, looks good. Okay. So looking at this, it seems like maybe room is something we could kind of pull out here.
Yeah. So like the struct and then the implementation block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's definitely create a room submodule.
Okay. So I'm going to copy this struct and the implementation block here. Create room.rs. Okay. And then, okay, so in engine RS now, is this where we would declare, we would include that submodule? Or would we do that in
Yeah.
yeah, I guess this is the root. So,
I think we could do either, but this is probably the better way.
yeah, so I'll say mod room, and we'll make that public. Does that look right?
Yeah, I think you're going to get an issue about the submodule being in the source directory, but
Okay, let's check
let's
that
see.
out.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Name the file engine/roomrs or engine room modrs inside the directory source. All right, so I
Yeah.
guess let's make an engine folder, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna put that here. Let's try it again now. Okay, lots of errors. Unresolved import engine room. A similar name exists in the module room. No room in engine. So that makes sense because in main here, we are saying that room is right off of the engine package, but it's really under
Engine room. Room.
room.
I think it does have to be room because now we have a submodule named room,
Mm-hmm.
and the struct room is within the submodule named room.
Okay. Okay, let's see if room worked.
No, I think, well, so room requires exit and direction. So maybe we need some use clauses.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed this is coming from room.rs. You're already at the top there. You want to add a use?
Yes.
I guess I just, for some reason, I thought that room would just implicitly have those things in scope because it's a submodule. But I guess we still have to use.
Yeah, I think we have to be explicit, but maybe we're doing something wrong.
Let's try it.
So we want exit, and then we want, what was the other one?
Direction.
Okay.
Okay, so that's some of these. And then we also, let me run this again just to see if that resolved some of the issues. It did, so that's good. But I think we now need to do the same for engine RS and add room to the scope.
Okay.
So the super keyword you used right here says like go one, kind of one layer up to the parent module, right?
Yeah, go to the mama module.
Yep. Okay, so in engine RS, Now we need to expose room. Room. Ah, okay. Huh. So all of these methods are private still.
Hmm.
Is there a way we can say we can tell our code to make these public but just for the module or just for the parent module and not outside of that?
Yeah.
So that would be in, yeah, this would be here and here. Like, because we don't necessarily want the users to be able to use those functions, just our engine code.
Yeah. The syntax that I saw that was kind of useful for that, but still pretty generalizable was pub crate, I guess.
Ah,
Except we're making a binary, so not a library. So maybe that
right.
makes no sense.
Should we be making a library?
Hmm. So I guess maybe our engine could become a library.
Yeah. Anyways, should we just, for now, should we just make these public?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. That
Cool.
works.
Nice.
So I'm kind of curious if could do you remember what this shorthand without super does?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that changed a bunch between like the older version of Rust and the new version.
Yeah.
And I believe as of the latest version, the only time you use that colon syntax is when you refer to an external crate.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, so like you know how we used random in
Mhm.
our guessing game?
Mhm.
I think it would be like colon random.
Gotcha. So kind of a shorthand for including external packages. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's see. We've got our room sub module.
Yeah. I honestly kind of feel okay with this, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these little enums could be broken out, but it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Maybe we could then move on, try to turn this into a library.
Let me think about that. Because the only time I've created a library has been with Cargo, with the
Mm-hmm.
dash dash lib, and
Right.
then in the chapter we learned that if you add a main.rs, then you could have both, like library plus
Mm-hmm.
binary. Um,
Maybe we could try just running that cargo lib command in another directory and kind of compare and see how it's different.
yeah, yeah. Let's take a look.
Okay, so we have engine here.
Cool.
Okay, let's take a look at that. I guess I didn't need to create a subdirectory. Okay, so we have this librs function, or sorry, file, and that's about it. So is it just that we need to name it lib? Is that how that works?
Maybe. Are there any? There's no other differences between the Cargo TOMLs? Wow. Okay.
Name engine. That's it.
Yeah. So it literally looks like we just have to create the lib.rs entry point then.
Okay. So in the chapter, they all they do is declare the modules in that file. They declare pubmod client, pubmod network there. So I think we can kind of create our lib.rs file here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just copy this over. Just instead of declaring this in main, right? I'm gonna pull it out
Okay.
and move it to lib.
Did you import the crate into the main file?
Oh, good point. That's a great point. So we want to use engine.
Yeah, so I know in the old version there was that extern crate thing,
Right,
but
which
I
we
think
don't
that got
need.
replaced by a different syntax, but I can't recall it off the top of my head if it's just use colon colon engine. Not sure.
Let's try that. Nope.
Dang. Okay. So same issue. So maybe the extern crate. One of these combinations will work.
Can't find crate. Hmm.
Okay. I think I know what's going on.
Okay.
Maybe. Um, so I think the name of our library is the name of the project, Sean and Kate's Excellent Adventure, if that makes sense. And that refers to lib.
So we'd have to rename it. So if
Engine.
okay, so we could just do this, right?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Different errors, right?
Right.
Okay.
And
So
and so now it's engine, or or you could get rid of lib and rename engine.rs to lib, maybe.
okay.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, built. That's
Okay.
promising. Cool.
Yeah. So I feel like we've pretty much hit on just about everything. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we can just take a pass and see if we can clean up the code a little bit.
Okay.
So since this was written in like 2014, I know some of the syntax allows us to try things up a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Um,
this right here, lines 31 through 34.
yeah, that looks like a great example. Do you mind cleaning that up?
Sure. So, I believe we can use destructuring here. So we can do like that, just do it in one line. Do you know about aliasing here? Like, I think we'd have to rename the
Um,
lowercase uses of
I
of
mean,
those variables, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I could see it either being like each of those has an as, or we have an as with another curly brace block.
let's try it. This looks promising.
Yeah,
Nice.
cool. Hmm. That all looks pretty good now, I think.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm curious, like I think there was a shorthand syntax for importing multiple things from one place at the same time. Like I think there's a way to do use super colon colon, and then maybe it's the same syntax as the enum
Sure.
where it's exit comma direction. Can we
Yeah.
try that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I feel like I'm out of sync with your project for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, do you mind trying it then?
Sure. You can see my edits though.
At least through Zoom.
Okay. All right. Let's give that a try. Yep. Looks good.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I see in main we could also do something similar.
Yeah. And then I think you can then nest that syntax if you want.
So, sorry, I guess you mean destructuring the top level engine. So,
Right.
enter and then putting
That whole
direction right
thing.
in here. Whoa.
Yeah.
This is next level. Room like that.
I think so.
All right, let's cargo format this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks good.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
see.
it didn't cry, so. Yay, that's cool.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Wow, we've learned a lot of stuff today. This is great.
Yeah, a lot of good tools. I'm definitely looking forward to understanding what this means.
Hmm.
So, next week,
So how does it feel to improve on Steve Klabnik's code?
pretty good. Yeah, are you going to tag him on Twitter?
I'm too much of a coward.
Same.
Someone else can try it if they watch the video and get to this point. They're welcome to try it.
Yeah. Publish this as a crate. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Nice work today.
Yeah, good work, Kate. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to coming back. And I don't know what our example next week will be, but we can probably do all sorts of things now with collections and enums and structs and functions and modules.
Yeah, we're
All the
really
things.
fully unlocking our potential.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll see you next week then.
I'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye, everyone.